Hey guys, it is February 23rd, Sunday, 2020, 3:49 p.m. I got up from taking a nap. I made a video on my Facebook. That's usually where I've been making videos besides this YouTube channel that I'm making now. I think I finally ran out of space on my voice tracer. I had it right here by my windowsill earlier today. Internal audio file number 25. I'm about to make another one. See if I don't know why it stopped on its own. 3:51 p.m. I have no idea why it stopped on its own. It usually doesn't stop on its own. It's recording right now. Now it's recording. It stopped on its own. It usually doesn't stop on its own. I have no idea why it did that. Anyway, I made a video earlier today, and at 1:40 on my video, the audio cuts down real fucking low. It's down real fucking low. I don't understand why it got cut down real low. I was just speaking on my phone. I know my phone's hacked. It's been hacked by gangstalkers of Albany, Texas, and all the surrounding areas. And it's brand new. It's a brand new fucking phone. I mean, the other day the volume was going down by itself. Let me see if the volume's up on here. Yeah, the volume's up. It was going down and up by itself, or when I was on my YouTube channel like I am now, recording. It still won't let me go live. I have no idea why. I haven't, it just says the eligibility on my YouTube channel is not eligible because I don't have 1,000 subscribers. That's alright, you know. I just keep recording like this. Anyways, I came across, Clyde Lewis when he was speaking with Dr. John Hall and Dr. Matthew Hardnarg, and they're talking about targeted individuals. This was back in 2019 of, let me check, hold on. It was back in 2019 when that podcast on SoundCloud had been aired, and I finally came across it. It explains a lot of what's going on in my life also. The stuff that they talk about is also what's happening in my life, man. About these goddamn people honking and stuff, and well, around here they rev their engines, and they talking about throwing rocks on top of the roof, to make it seem like someone's on top of somebody's roof. As I look at my neighbor's house, which no one lives in, it has a brand new roof. Also, like my house has a brand new roof. And my roof used to have holes in it, And I always wonder where that shit came from, man. Even though it was a old-ass roof at one point. I believe somebody was throwing rocks, man. I thought about that, like throwing rocks on top of the roof. Like heavy rocks, so it'd make a fucking hole. And, well, I'm not sure how to switch this over when it's recording on the deal, but I really don't want to show my neighbor's house in case they try to sue my ass. So I'm not going to do that, but I could see half a fucking brick on top of that house, and no one lives in there. I'm not sure if that fucking brick was most meant to be thrown at my house, or it's just for them to get away with it, for doing shit like that towards my house. And, man, I just woke up, dude. I went to bed early last night and woke up around 1 o'clock this morning, and I've been up ever since. And I went back to bed around 11 this morning after I ate breakfast and went to go saw my nieces and nephew and my grandparents and my sister and my brother-in-law. Anyway, there's also a couple of ladders, man. back in 2015, man, I used to hear a fucking ladder, man. And it seemed like somebody was climbing on my roof or some shit at one point, man. I could never catch them in 2015. And no one lived in the house next to my house, you know, at the time either. Also, and like no one lives in the house next to my house now also, because my old neighbors that used to live there like for a long time, they have moved out a long time or a while back. Not because of me or anything else. It was just because they moved out, you know. And every now and then someone will move in there. They don't last long because they say the price is the rent's too high. And for that house, it might be, you know. And it needs to be renovated on the inside. I know that much. But there used to be holes on top of my roof, man. And I used to think about that, dude, you know. And at one point, man, in 2015, I do remember, you know, it was like hallucinating, but I wasn't hallucinating because I was on no fucking drugs, man. I just got back from, you know, go get my certificate from truck driving school that I had graduated from. And it was supposed to be a good day. That was in 2015. This shit started happening to me in 2015. I'm just looking outside my home. Back in 2015, these voices, which I thought it was real people around my house, and I couldn't fucking catch them. I was always wondering how the fuck they were so goddamn quick, because I'm actually pretty quick. I was athletic when I'm still athletic, you know. Athleticism doesn't go away when you grow up. I was pretty damn quick when I was growing up, you know. I played sports in junior high and high school. And I was always playing football when I was a kid before I got into junior high. I could never understand how I could never catch these people out here, you know, around my house. I'd hear ladders, you know. Every now and then it seemed like someone was getting on top of the roof or something. And I would always hear a honk, beep, go by my house. I'm like, oh shit, man, somebody gotta have a fucking like a you know, like one of those fucking deals like you like a T-post with a fucking another T-post with a fucking goddamn sign or something. And I thought somebody was honking, man, for that reason. I was like, man, they honking at my house or some shit. I can never figure it out. I was like, what the fuck? You know, every now and then you hear a honk, beep, and I never figured this out in like March 12, 2015. Was like or Thursday, March 12th, 2015. I have to check back on my calendar. Well, anyways, it was Friday the 13th weekend. I remember that it was Friday the 13th weekend, and I was just getting back from picking up my certificate, and I thought I was hallucinating from a Monster Energy drink, because when I went to the store, I never go to that Allsup's where I went in Abilene, and it was one of those, you know, the slide ones instead of the fucking goddamn fucking the tops, or the fucking, you know, it was one of those slide ones, you know, like move the sticker and you slide it. I thought it was already open, and I was like, man, this seems kind of open, but I drank it anyway. And that fucking night, you know, I stayed up all night, and I knew it wasn't from no fucking Monster Energy. Monster Energy drink don't do that shit. And I started feeling weird, man. I was like getting jittery, you know. And that seems natural from a goddamn fucking Monster Energy drink, but this seemed different. And I was like, what the hell? And I felt like people were all around my house, man. I couldn't catch them. And, you know, I'd call my sister. I was like, hey, can you stand outside the back door while I do something real quick? And I went inside. I went on my roof, you know, and I went in the attic, man, to see if I could catch some people, because I thought I heard some people in the attic. And I came down the other way, you know, and I couldn't find nobody. I was like, fuck, how are they so goddamn quick, man? And I remember at one point I was inside my house and I was looking up, you know, at a certain area of my house at one point, and it was like I could see like two people looking down at me, and it's like they had pantyhose on their fucking head, you know, but I could still see them, and I would like look up at them, and I was like, what the fuck? And it was like they would look down at me and kind of like, you know, where there was like, where I could see them, it looked like they would like move away real slowly, and I was like, what the fuck? And I heard them try to catch him, man, and go to the outside and try to catch him. And there was a lot of like, every now and then I'd hear a honk. I'm like, what the fuck, man? And it just got worse and worse over the weekend, you know. And I started seeing all kinds of stuff, man. I remember in one of my rooms, which it's not in there, man. It was just like words appeared on the wall. So what the fuck? I remember saying to one of my friends that had passed away a while back. It's been a while now, and I remember him from high school. He had passed away, and I remember going to his funeral and everything. But on the wall it said his name in County Road 109. I was like, what the fuck? So I instantly thought, man, maybe these people had killed him too, man. You know, these people from Albany. You know, it just wasn't supposed to be said or some shit. But I don't understand why I would see that his name in County Road 109. His first name starts with a B and the last name starts with an M. And I kind of do miss him at times, you know, or I've thought about him at times, you know. But couldn't remember why. I don't understand why I saw his name, and then I remember in the hallway, I remember looking up, and there was like 7 names I had never heard of, or seen in my life, and I remember it was on the ceiling, and it was like, it wasn't painted, it wasn't written, but I could see the names, and it had like 4 names like marked out, and 3 of them was left unmarked. You know, it was just like their names, and the other 4 had like a mark through it. And yeah, I need to start working out again, man. My fucking gains are fucking, yeah. I've been taking a break, man, since I got out of Ocean's Abilene Behavioral Hospital on some other deal. I talked about that on my Facebook, but like I said, they cut the audio down at 140, so you have to put your earphones in and turn the volume up all the way. You can barely hear me. And then at 12:44 on my video, the volume comes back up high, so be careful with your ears. But anyways, I saw those 7 names and 4 of them marked out, or was it 3 names marked out and 4 left unmarked, you know. And I wish I could have wrote all that stuff down. And I remember the friend's name that I went to school with that had passed away, so that one's easy. But the other 7 names I can't remember. I wish I'd have wrote that down. And then I remember walking in my room, and it said hexed above my fucking my doorway threshold, you know, above the wall. It said hexed, and it wasn't written in there, it wasn't painted, it was the way it had appeared, and it said hexed. I said, what the fuck? And then I remember seeing fb.com/my name, LINO, and a bunch of numbers. I wish I would have wrote that one down too. And couldn't understand what the fuck was going on, man. But it's like I feel like people all around me, and couldn't catch them, and people were like, I don't understand how things were happening, man. And I wasn't on no drugs, so I was like, what the fuck, man. And it just got worse about that time, man. It was already past Friday by now, man, and I've been up those whole day, all those days. And then Saturday, man, I mean, Friday was bad, man. My parents were wondering what the fuck was wrong with me, and it was weird, dude. And I remember leaving my house in the middle of the night, man. I was gonna go talk to my sister, and it had rained that weekend also. And I went by my sister's house, and I seen that they were asleep, so I didn't even go by. I mean, I didn't even go try waking them up. You know, all the lights were off. And then I was gonna go to my grandma's, you know, and I always felt like somebody was walking behind me or some shit. You know, I could feel that. And then, you know, at one point I'd take off jogging, you know, and I'd hide behind a fucking pole. I was like, and man, some people would think like Leno's on drugs, man, instantly. And I wasn't. wasn't on no fucking drugs, man. And I'd like hide behind a pole to see if I could see anybody walking behind me or jogging behind me. And I'd fucking wait, you know. Like, I'd wait to see if somebody come through the fucking lot under the street lights, you know. And I was like, I didn't see nobody. And I was like, what the fuck, man? And then, like, after I went by my sister's and seen that their lights were off and I didn't want to wake them up. And then I was feeling weird, man. I was feeling like, kind of like, I don't get scared even when like evil shit's happening. I don't get scared because I know what it is, man. It's evil, like it's evil shit, you know. And I have seen the devil before, man. As bad as that sounds, and I wasn't on drugs either then. I've seen the devil before. He had appeared to me one time, and you know, and like on my other video, I said when people use drugs, man, the devil usually appears to people, and that's because he wants to feel powerful and known. That's in one of my other videos. You might want to. I explained it. You know, remote neural devices, people who do that uses that too. You know, and they will fuck with people and have the devil appear to people they don't like or some shit trying to scare them and shit. And that's the actual real devil appearing to people, you know. And people with the devices are saying like, oh, that's just a device, you know, if you're not on drugs, you know, that's just a device, you know. They'll tell their other people that are gang stalking with them, oh man, it's just a device. But it's the same way with drugs, man. The devil has always used drugs to appear to people, man. And people would be like, oh, that's just a bad trip, you know. And it ain't just a bad trip, man. That's the actual devil showing up to people, man, because the devil don't give a fuck. He will find any opportunity to be shown, to show himself in this world, man, because he loves that power of doing that. And he'll find every opportunity to do that. Him and his demons will do that. And people who use the remote neural devices and doing shit like that are true demons in the flesh, man, because that doesn't come from God, man. That comes from the devil. And like I was saying, man, oh, because my arms are, you know, kind of going down again, you know. I'm not really flexing right now, but people will be like, oh, Lynn was on steroids. People have been trying to say Lynn was on steroids. I don't take no supplements from Total Nutrition, and because I would take, you know, testosterone booster and estrogen blocker and Epic Grow and what is it called, Liver Guardian, you know, to protect my organs. But I don't even take that, man. I was like, I'm going all natural, man, like I used to be in high school, and everything else, man. Like I used to be in high school, man. I wouldn't take anything, you know. I went all natural, and I'm going like that again, man. I got my weight set still, man. You know, I've been working out, but I just haven't in the past like 4 days. Haven't worked out. Coming down the hallway where I told you where I had seen those names was actually like right there, right above me. This is my room, my workout, where I work out. And here's my new mirror. You know, hold on. Here's my new mirror where I look in my, and I'm starting to work out, you know. I used to have an old mirror that had a little dot, and people were like, oh, that's Photoshop, because it had a little black dot on the mirror because it was an old mirror. And this room's actually like greenish instead of baby bluish, but that's what's showing up. And we painted it. It used to be purple. My sister used to like purple at one point way back in the day. And well, anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. Back in 2015, man, I couldn't understand how I couldn't catch these people out here around my house and everything, man. And it was like people was laughing about it, man. And I remember, what was it, Saturday or Sunday, when I had almost committed suicide because of this shit, you know. I remember sitting in my kitchen looking out the window, dude. And I was sitting down looking out the window, and I was trying to stay calm, man, and a lot of shit was happening. I was like, couldn't understand it. I was trying to stay calm. I didn't understand what the fuck was happening to me. And, because I wasn't on no drugs. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I remember looking out the window and looking at a certain direction, across the street. And I remember seeing someone setting up a camera like the news people would, like how they have those big ass fucking cameras, and pointing it to my house. And I remember hearing a helicopter flying over, man, and that's before someone I know in this town had a helicopter. And, or he did have a helicopter. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. And I remember sitting down in my couch, and not my couch, my chair in my kitchen. I was looking out the window, and then all of a sudden, man, like something put the thought of a chain to the leg of my chair with like a little girl chained up to it, and I was like, what the fuck, And I was like trying to think of why that would pop up in my head. I was like, what the fuck, And I would look back real quick, and I was like, what the hell, And for some reason, I felt like someone took a shot, man. That's why I looked back real quick. I felt like someone took a picture of that shit. And I was like, what the fuck, man? So that's what made me look back real quick. And there was no one in my house. It was just me at the time, And then I remember one of my brother-in-laws coming over, to see if I wanted to go with him, to like the ranch, because he was about to go do something. And I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do nothing. I'll pass, and I don't want to go nowhere. And I didn't tell him anything, man. I don't know why. I don't understand why I didn't say anything, and couldn't figure it out, And went in my room, tried to play my Xbox, and that didn't fucking work, man, because I couldn't relax. And then I felt like I was sitting on top of somebody, man. Like I was sitting like on a chest, man, and someone was inside, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? And so I turned my Xbox off, and before I turned my Xbox off, man, I swear someone like shot a water gun, dude, because I could see, and this was real. This wasn't hallucinating. There was water on my fucking wooden floor in my fucking room. I don't know if it should. Yeah, there was water on my fucking floor. I was like, what the fuck? And it hit me. I was like, what the fuck? I started looking up on my ceiling. I was like, what the hell? And I couldn't figure it out either. And then, it was getting bad, man. It was getting real bad. And I know the letters I saw on my wall were, I know now how it was done. And, but like the water gun squirting something at me, that was fucking real. I couldn't understand. I was like, what the fuck, man? That actually did hit me. Like something, like water or something did hit me. And then it fell like on top of like when you shoot a water gun and like some of it falls, some of it fell on the floor. And I couldn't understand it, man. I was like, it got real bad, and it got weird as fuck too. And I'm trying to remember in order how it went. And about that time, I think it was Saturday morning, I felt like people were around my house. I could hear people, I had went outside one time, man, and these people's voices, I know who they are, I remember also looking up out of my fucking window and in my kitchen, and it was like someone in a fucking ghillie suit in my fucking goddamn tree. I was like, what the fuck? And I don't know why I didn't go outside, man, and fucking check for my goddamn self, like, and actually go outside. I mean, the stuff that was happening, man, my heart was racing, I felt scared, but I know I wasn't scared, man, because I don't get scared of nobody or anything, dude. I really don't. I'm not that person who gets scared easily. I've always grown up like that. And growing up, I was never scared. I was always brave, and always did brave, like, all kinds of things when I was growing up. Like jump off a cliff, or, ride my bike off a cliff into a water, or, jumping off a big old fucking downboard, doing front flips, back flips. And, just stuff, like something brave, like some kids would be scared to do. I would always do it, just to say I can do it. And I couldn't figure out what the fuck that was, man. It was like someone in a ghillie suit. Like, damn, man, what they doing in my tree? And then I could hear people all around my house, man. Even this side of the house where it's usually dark. That's why I put 2 lots up. And I need to put I need to go get a new fucking lot sensor for my back one because it's kind of fucked up, man. When I went to Walmart, it seemed like the box was already open. It seemed like people knew I was already going to go get 2 of those because one of them was already fucked up. I should have took it back when I had the receipt. Anyway, it's a whole nother story. But while I was trying to figure out what was happening, man, it's like, I don't know, man. I almost committed suicide. I had my pocket knife that I usually carry with me because I used to have a job, and that's what that was for. You know, that's what I had bought it for at one point. It was a pretty big pocket knife, about that big. It was camo, and it was kind of like this one that I have. I got a black one. I bought it for work also. Let me see. It was kind of like this one, you know, where you could see through it, and it had a pretty good blade on it. This one I bought for work because I worked in the oil field, and sometimes you would need a knife to like cut rope or some shit that you would always need. It had a blade about that big, and I use it for work. You know, I usually carry it with me, you know, because you never know what might happen. But I carried it, you know, at work, you know, because every now and then you might need a blade, you know, to cut something like rope or whatever, you know. And anyways, I had one like that. It was camo, and I stuck it to my chest, man. And I remember people saying, "Do it, do it, do it," like a bunch of people, like a group of people. And I thought they were just outside my house, man, because that's where I could hear those voices coming from. And one coming in from inside my house. And they were like saying, "Do it." And I knew the people, their voices, they were saying it too, you know, at the time. And I felt like I was being recorded, man, like it was being broadcasted on live on the internet, like it was being broadcasted. I was like, what the fuck? I felt that. And I had that knife to my chest, man. And I was going to fucking, you know, kill myself. And I was going to, you know, try to help my parents. I thought of my mom, you know, and I was like, I can't do this. And, you know, I thought of God also. And I said, God wouldn't want me to do this. And I grabbed my fucking knife, and in my bathroom, I fucking wrote, "I'm with you." It was to remind me that Jesus is always with me also, you know. And I had this. And no one really knows about that, you know. I ain't never really told anybody this story, you know, because I did call the cops on myself that day. I went over to my other neighbor's house. There was a woman where they moved that big old house. She used to live there. And I knocked on her door and I said, "Are you an FBI agent?" She said, "No, but my friend is." That's what she said to me. And I said, "Can I use your phone? I need to call the cops." And she said, "Yeah." And she asked if I wanted to come inside. I said, "No, I'll stay right here." And I waited at the door while I think she went upstairs, and she went and grabbed her cell phone. And we called the cops. And I asked them to swing by my house that I needed to show them something. Oh, yeah. And on my back porch, I remember seeing the letters A and B. A, B. And also on my carport, some other stuff I would see. My back door by my lot. And I remember the lot, when I would turn on the lot, you know, it was untwisted, you know. The light wouldn't come on. So I had to twist it back in. And that was the night before. So and there's a lot of stuff that happened, man. I'm just trying to remember everything. And that light didn't work because somebody had unfucking twisted it. I had to twist it back in. And underneath that had said AB, you know, like kind of like mud. It was like AB. That's what it looked like at the time. And I had called the cops, and it took them, which was fucking ridiculous because I live in a small ass fucking town in Texas. And me and that lady sat on the curb outside my house, and these cops were taking fucking forever, man. And it was fucking dumb because there's like 6 fucking cops or 8, like 7 cops that live in this town, you know, and they got vehicles, cop vehicles, and it took them like fucking forever to come by my house. Plus, like a couple DPS people that live here, and it took them forever to show up to my house, like 30 to 40 minutes. And while I was sitting on the curb, I was thinking to myself, man, these people are gonna go in my house and everything's gonna be changed, and I ain't gonna be able to show them these cops what happened. And about the time the cops showed up, man, you know, DPS showed up and city cops showed up at the time. And I was like, man, it took y'all forever, dude. He was like, yeah, he said the name, and I can't remember exactly what he said. And, you know, I was like, hey, man, I have to show you something. About the time I walked back to my back door, the words AB was gone, and the stuff I saw underneath my carport were gone. I was like, man, I was mad, dude, because it took them forever, and I was like, man, it's like they spray painted it over it, you know, but they didn't use spray paint. It was gone, man. It's like vanished, and everything in my house that I seen was gone already, and I was like, what the fuck, man? And it was bad, man. And I remember before I called the cops, man, when I was also when I was in my kitchen, I had a jalapeno jar, and I remember seeing a fucking elephant, man, a baby fucking elephant, like a little miniature elephant inside that fucking jar of jalapenos. And people are gonna be like, Leno was on drugs, man. Them drugs fried his fucking brain, man. No, I don't do drugs, man. I don't do fucking drugs. I was sober too. I told you, man. I just got my CDL from my truck driving school, and they drug test you. And I also worked in the oil field, so I don't like to do that shit. People are gonna be like, watch one of his videos, man. We don't smoke weed or some shit. I didn't, man. And this was back in 2015, and I couldn't understand how it was gone. So the cops told me to come ride with them to the police station, you know. And we got there, man. It seemed like we were there forever, because about the time I know it, man, it was already getting dark and everything, dude. And a lot of stuff happened at the jailhouse, dude, that I still ain't gonna say yet. I'll wait, or I shouldn't wait, man. Fuck that. I shouldn't wait, because it's 2020 now, man. And we went to the station, man, and the guy's name starts with the J and last name starts with a P. And before we went to the station, man, the DPS that showed up, his name starts with a B and last name starts with a W. And I said, hey, man, are you on the good side, man? And he's like, I believe that what's right is right. That's what he told me. And I said, okay. I was like, I gotta show you something. And that's the time when I was like, man, all that, the AB and the stuff on my carport was gone, stuff in my house was gone. You know, we didn't even walk in my house, because I was like, man, it's already gone, dude. And I walked in my house by myself, though, you know, and it was already gone. And they couldn't understand what was, like, not they couldn't understand, but I couldn't understand how everything was gone. So he told me to go to the police station with him, and I went, you know, and the guy, Jason, or the guy that starts with a J, the city cop at the time, we were sitting in the conference room, and he said, hey, write everything down on this notepad. And I was like, and he slid it to me, and man, I saw the devil in him, man. And it's like he knew what I fucking said, because he started fucking grinning real fucking big when I fucking thought that. When I thought that, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, he started grinning real big. So I grabbed that notepad and I slid it right back at him. I said, I don't trust y'all. And so they called Betty Harwick, man. And while that was happening, dude, I could hear boom, boom, like fucking artillery shells going off, like fireworks or gunshots, man. And I could hear them saying, like, man, we're going to shoot them, you know, or, you know, let's shoot them, you know. And it's like they were going to shoot me in my balls, man. And it's like they were like going to do it from underneath the fucking the conference table. And I was like, what the fuck, man? But I just kept sitting there, and I kept remember thinking if someone gave me a shot or something, you know, to like so they can fucking like like, you know, like in movies when you get shot, you see someone get shot and they start just saying everything to somebody. Well, I never got a shot, but it felt like that, man. The chair I was sitting in, I was like, what the fuck? And but I didn't say anything. And I remember remember them saying all kinds of stuff that we're going to shoot them, you know, and all this fucking stuff towards me. And it's like they didn't think I could hear them, but I did hear them. And it was bad, man. I didn't trust the cops, man. And I remember this girl lying about her age, you know, and then another couple people was telling her, you know, you should go to the police station because you get in trouble for lying about your age. And I remember the cops and other people saying, you know, we'll just change the date on the paperwork. And well, I didn't do anything bad, man. People are already saying that Leno like raped a girl that supposedly has been raped in this town, but yet the sheriff never locked him up. And that one moved away and one stayed in town. And it had nothing to do with me. But I didn't even, like, you know, they were talking about her being underage, and, you know, and she wasn't underage when we had a little fling going, you know, and I remember them saying that they could switch the dates on the paperwork, you know, to make me look bad. And I remember that, and I remember the goddamn like artillery shows, like gunshots going off, boom boom, every time they supposedly got something right or something, you know, something bad happened, or like, you know, trying to make me look bad. And it was terrible, man. And I'm at 36 minutes, and last time I was at almost over an hour. My screen went blank to my home screen. Someone hacks my phone, and it doesn't save my video. So I'm gonna try to get finish up, because I don't want that to happen and all of a sudden this is gone, like the other videos. Well, anyways, they came back in the conference room and said, we called Betty Harwick, and I said, well, I'm gonna leave, man. You know, since I was the one that called the cops on myself, you know, and they didn't have no charge on me or anything, and I didn't tell them anything, you know. But it's like they knew what I was already going to tell them. And there's a kid drove by that goes whoosh, with his diesel truck. When you let off the fucking gas, it makes that sound. Whoosh, whoosh. He usually does that on purpose, man. He's been doing that for a while. You know, it's probably to cover up all the tracks. The other kids that did it too. You know, he just did that just now. And he does that shit on purpose, that kid. And, you know, that's what's kind of like a distraction. They do that shit. Well, anyway, they said they were calling Betty Hart, and I said, well, I'm leaving. That cop, the city cop at the time, said, you know, will you give me 15 minutes, man, because they were on their way. I already called them. Will you give me the, what was that word? Fuck, man. Someone's using that remote neural device to throw different words in my fucking thoughts, you know, so I won't get the right word out of my mouth. The courtesy. He said, will you give me the courtesy, you know, since they're already on their way? And I said, yeah, I guess, man, I can do that. And 15 minutes went by, man, and it was like forever, dude. It was almost like an hour. And I was like, well, man, I'm leaving. And he was like, come on, man, they're on their way. And, you know, and finally they showed up. And the guy kind of like evaluated me, and I still didn't tell him nothing, man. And it's like they tried to take me to Betty Harwick, dude. And I was like, man, the best place right now is for me to be with my family. And he said, you know what? You're right, dude. He said, let me go talk to these cops, see what they say. And they walked out of the room, and man, I could still like feel all those people, and I could hear a boom, boom every now and then. You know, it was like an indication, you know, for the whole goddamn town that was listening at the time or some shit. And or not the whole town, but the people that were doing this shit. And I mean, I've left quite a bit of stuff out, you know. Well, I covered, you know, what I seen that elephant And I guess that's just to make it seem like Lena was on drugs when I'm not on, when I wasn't on drugs. I believe that's what that was for. And you know, the fireworks sounds and with the gun, which were like gunshots, and you know, I remember that's when I remember them hearing them say they'll change the dates on the paperwork, and also, and they came back in and they were like, well, you got to go. And I was like, what do you mean I got to go? And they handcuffed me. They handcuffed me against my will and took me to Better Heart. And I remember seeing my mom and my aunt later on when I was walking outside the jailhouse. It's like, and they were like, my mom was crying, and they took me to Betty Harwick, and the cop, man, he drove like 100 miles to Betty Harwick. And I remember someone saying that somebody's going to come get me, to come pick me up, or come get me. And these cops were driving like 100 miles, man, 90 fucking miles there. And I remember another deputy had got inside the vehicle with the cop that's taking me, the one that starts with a J and ends with a P. That's his initials. And the other cop that had jumped in the passenger seat is a new chief of the town I'm from, which is Albany. And I remember counting in my head, man. I don't know what made me think of that, but I started counting in my head. I thought of that on my own, I started counting in my head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I just started doing that because I was like, man, if they're like reading my thoughts, I don't know how I knew this. I was like, if they're reading my thoughts, man, I ain't gonna let them fuck with me because all they're doing is just laughing at me and fucking with me. And on the way there, man, it was like they were gonna. I remember thinking about if you are going to shoot me, man, with my handcuffs on me, because that's where they were supposed to take me out in the pasture or some shit, then at least give me a running start, And I remember the driver at the time, when we were already halfway to Abilene, he got a phone call, and I could hear it say, "What's he doing?" And the other one said, "He's still counting." And the other one on the phone said, "Stupid bastard," talking about me. And we finally get to it was called Abilene Behavioral Hospital at the time. And we got there, and I remember they were admitted me in, and they made me wait in the office. They didn't keep me in the front. They brought me to the back and put me in the office. And I remember feeling people that were also at my house come up there to Abilene, and they were like looking through the window all around the facility, And I remember seeing a male nurse, and like the thought of like he's hot, like went through my thoughts, but it wasn't me because I'm not gay. And I remember hearing a woman say, "He's hot," Like, what the fuck? And I remember they're going to fight me, and they're like somebody was supposed to come through the door and fight me. And so I was waiting on that, man, and I'd also get up, and I remember a black guy saying, "Damn, man, y'all fucked him up." But I wasn't on no drugs, and I sat back down behind that desk because it was a desk, and there was where they sit, and then where patients sit, And I remember looking down, and I seen a syringe coming underneath the goddamn fucking the desk, man. It was like a syringe, an old syringe right there. I was like, what the fuck, man? And finally, a guy came in there, man. A black guy came in there, and they were seeing if I was going to, it like took forever for that guy to come to the office, inside that office. It was like they were sitting there like just watching me, man, from a distance, just like making fun of me at the same time, and seeing if I needed to get put in there. And that's when I remember that black guy saying, "Damn, man, y'all fucked him up," and all kinds of stuff. And I remember they finally took me to the back, into one of those pods. And it was at that time I went to a West Side unit, And I remember walking by by the nurse's station, and they had a TV on, and it was playing like bells, dude. And I remember it was like my house was showing, dude. I was like, what the fuck? And it reminded me of that when I was looking out my kitchen window. It's at 45 minutes, so I'm probably have to make another video after this. Uh, Try to cut it real short. I remember seeing a commercial of my house and shit with bells, and they put me in that pod, and I made noise, and I tried talking to the nurse. It was a locked pod, and there was other people in there though, already asleep, and that woman was like, "Play that back again," and they did. I remember hearing that, and she said, "He's right, man. Last time it showed it was playing. It had bells playing, but this time it didn't." Well, anyways, I'm gonna have to make another video. Uh, this it's Lino Martinez. Today is. God dang it. Today is February 23rd, Sunday, 2020, 4:35 p.m. I'm gonna have to make another video. Well, anyway, what I found out, man, later on in life, that it was remote neural device and gang stalkers. So that's how I was hearing these voices and people all around my house and stuff. And I actually did see a person that night, that Friday night became Saturday morning when I had left to go to my sister's. Before that, I had seen a guy in a black hoodie across my street where that yellow house used to be, where they also moved that house, standing right there by that fucking garage. That was real too. I remember seeing him right there, someone right there in a black hoodie at the time, and a lot of stuff went on in Abilene Behavioral Hospital that I didn't think was right, man, and I know it wasn't right. It was fucked up shit, and these people were using that device. Now I know what it is. It's a fucking remote neural device. Gang stalkers using voice to skull, direct energy weapons, and frequency waves, and all the other shit with it. And they're still doing it, and they're listening to me right now, and every now and then they'll say a couple words, while I finish my story, and what's happened. And I remember seeing a person right there, and I remember when I went to my sister's, like a red maroonish car, kind of almost like dark, four-door like Honda Civic, bumping a beat going boom, 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 like a heartbeat sound. It was like following me, and I remember going by the Matthews Presbyterian Memorial Church, and I remember a couple people sitting outside in like a kind of like a Suburban, I remember that part. There was actual real people, and it was late in the morning already, and I went home because I decided not to go with my grandparents, and I remember during the day before I went to call the cops on me, I remember I went to my parents to go tell them goodbye and everything, because I was going to commit suicide and shit. And, but they don't even know that, and I remember the siren, the fire siren going off, like the tornado siren, going off, and people were going to fucking chase me out of town or some shit, and it was trying to make me look bad. I know that now. But when I was at Abilene Behavioral Hospital, it was a bunch of bad stuff happening there. And that woman, I remember her eyes were fucking big because, like, it's like she knew what was happening and she was scared about it. And I remember hearing my mom screaming, or crying and saying, kill me, like somebody was doing something to her, and she didn't want to feel that pain no more or something. And I remember hearing a lot of stuff, and these people were trying to fuck with me, and I remember I thought they were using the speakers to the fucking goddamn the ceiling. That's how I was hearing people, But at the same time, I knew it wasn't that because I could hear people all around the fucking facility, like talking shit to me or certain area I was at. And I remember this guy named starts with A and ends with a C. He was looking for drugs and shit, and apparently somebody put the thought of me being like a mule, and I ain't no mule, and shitting out fucking drugs, and he was still wanting that shit, and I ain't no fucking goddamn drug mule or any of that shit, man. And this shit's probably gonna get me in trouble, but this is what happened, man. And and I know people have been telling people around this area that, oh, Leno's he's a drug house, man. And I just heard someone say, we're winning. And this ain't no fucking drug house, man, for all you people out there. And or a trap house, because we like to use the back door instead of the front. And just like a trap house, I guess that's how a trap house does it, man. They use just one door. But we just use the back door, man. We don't even use the front door because everything, like the fucking carport's in the back, and that's where the cars are parked. Shit, even when we moved here from the beginning, we just used the back door. Anyways, a lot of stuff happened at Abilene Behavioral Hospital, man. It was fucked up shit. And I'm gonna have to make another video on that one. But right now, man, I'm just gonna go get something to drink and kind of relax. It's 51 minutes in, and I don't want this video to get lost, so I'm gonna stop it right there. It is February 23rd, Sunday, 2020, 4:40 p.m. afternoon. Probably gonna go see what my sister and the little kids are doing, and my brother-in-law. My little niece is about to be 2, and my little nephew's not even 1 yet. About to go see what they're doing. For all you true target individuals out there, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all be careful, man. It's remote neural device. It's voice to skull. You're not crazy. There's a podcast I put on my Facebook with Dr. John Hall and Dr. Matthew Arnard or something like that. I can't pronounce his last name. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. With Clyde Lewis, who's the radio host. Find my Facebook. My Facebook has me with a white t-shirt on with no cap on. I'll probably post a link to it. But yes, guys, I'm Leno Martinez. I'm a true target individual. Been V2K since May 12, 2016, nonstop. Back in 2015, these voices went away. And it wasn't by medication. It was just they just stopped before I even started taking medication. And I don't take medication now, man. I never need it. I know what it is. And I was 27 at the time in 2015. And I didn't even realize there were voices at the time, man. I thought it was people all around me. So I just, and they went away, and I thought they just went away, So, and it stopped. The voices stopped because I thought it was real people just around me and also in the facility, And I'm going to end it right here because it's 53 minutes, and I don't want this video to get lost. So, you guys, true target individuals out there, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all be careful. Keep the word of God. It is Sunday, man. Pray to God. Pray for your families. And sometimes, man, I know this gets hard, but it's hard for me too, but I'll even pray for gangstalkers to get out of gangstalking. And I pray for the homeless people, my family, of course. I pray for them. And y'all take care, man. God bless.